Okay, if you just do a search for Chinese dinosaur factory, you'll come across all kinds of stuff. And a lot of the listings are for animatronic dinosaurs, but they'll also make fake dinosaur bones. Now, I'm here at the Whitty, and these are the only real ones they got in here. So, these here are real ones. Get a little perspective here. These are real bones. This, however, is fake. This is fake right here. This is obviously a resin cast. So I'm going to go show you some. And here's the here's a T-Rex skeleton facsimile, remember, because see here you have it going straight into supposedly, and the kids that are coming in here think this is a real bone. This is just a resin cast. So when you go to a museum, hardly any of the actual exhibits are actual dinosaur bones. They're just resin cast, and I'm kind of okay with that. Here's a Deinosuchus riograndeus, the giant king of the crocodile that has been making a kind of a splash on the Discovery Channel the last couple of years. A giant crocodile that supposedly fed on dinosaurs, and he probably did. But I want to bring up several things. So they found dead flesh and it usually has to be in the big bones of the dinosaur. So they find them in Triceratops, frills, and the actual horns here. And that's kind of my theory on why Sue got seized by the federal government. So if you've ever been up to the museum up in Chicago, they have the most complete T-Rex skeleton of all time, Sue, and it was seized from the Dakotas by the FBI, and the reason I think it was seized because it was the most complete skeleton, therefore would have been probably the youngest. And if you drop Dr. Mary Schweitzer and Jack Horner were the ones that initially, actually Mary Schweitzer, so they dropped a bone and broke open, and there was tissue in it that was unfossilized. Well, now they found it all over the place. And Mary Schweitzer, I'd like for you to search for 60 minutes of her interview. It was about 10 years ago. Mary Schweitzer, and she just can't come to the right conclusion. She goes, we don't know by what mechanism that the flesh stays as fresh as it does after 65 million years ago. Well, it just doesn't occur to her that it's only several thousand years old, not several million years old. And Dr. Mark Armitage he was teaching at a university in Southern California. He got censored, even though he was a tenured professor, because he was showing them how to harvest this flesh out of there and test it. Now, it's obviously not alive, but there is no, I mean, think about it. When you look at a mummy, like King Tut's mummy, when they prepared the body, they took out all the internal organs. They soaked it in basically salt for 40 days. Natron, I think, was the technical term for the salt bath they put it in there. You have to look that up. I read that maybe 30 years ago, so I may not have it right. But anyway, and then it's stored in a dry area, and that's less than 5,000 years ago. So there's no mechanism by where flesh could last 65 million years ago. So you could technically, there's probably actually enough viable DNA. If they were to break open enough dinosaur bones, you could probably actually clone one. Not saying we should. I mean, there's probably enough viable DNA to actually do it with mammoths that they found frozen, but it cost $10 or $12 billion to So what you would do is you would mix it with an African female elephant impregnate, and then you have a 50-50, and then F2 generation would be, basically 75%, blah, on and on and on till you got to, but you'd have to spend billions of dollars, and we don't even take care of the elephants we have now. So anyway, the timelines are all wrong. All the cultures have tales of dragons and dinosaurs. And the word dinosaur was not invented until the 1850s, and before that we called them dragons and monsters. If you would, check out the works of Trey Smith, Ken Ham, Kent Hovind, Robert Gentry. I've got more on timbosplace.com. Please like, share, and subscribe. Help me get the message out. You've been lied to on many levels. Thank you. I'm out.